So, thus far in Max, we've only looked at one file type, which is the patcher, right? So you go up to File, New Patcher, and you end up with something that looks like this. We do all of our edits in here, and then we save the patcher. And when we do this, we end up, let's see, my cool maxpat desktop, and it's this maxpat file type. Okay, my cool maxpat.maxpat. So I'm going to make a new folder for us for project example. Put that in there. And then we can look at this folder to watch what's going to happen here. Okay, so that is all fine and good, except for we have a problem. When you're giving me this max patch, I'm only getting literally just the canvas, just the max patcher. So if you wanted to include anything like a sound file, right, and you put in a sound file from your computer, so here's some sound files. Here, you guys can have this one. I'm rickrolling you. Okay, just 20 seconds. So, right, so I've now got a sound file, but if I save this max patch, my cool max patch 2 into here, and then I were to give it to you, you would not, we don't need this, I'm gonna throw it away. You would not have this sound file, and that would be a tragedy because you wouldn't be able to hear the rickroll. And so if we have something that we're working on that we want to be able to have these different types of media, then we want to be able to transfer this in a more eloquent way. And the way that we're going to do this is with a file structure called a max project. So when you go up to File, you have an option for New Patcher, but you also have an option for New Project. So I'm going to close this max patch and go up to File and say New Project. And the first thing that it does is this dialog box. It wants me to actually save the project first. So I'm going to call this Swisher midterm project, because you have to use this for your midterm project. And it also is automatically going to want you to put it in the Max8 folder, projects folder. If you want to use this, this is fine. You don't have to. You can put it anywhere else. So I'm going back to this. I'm going to hit save in this folder. And instead of getting a patcher, I now have a file directory with a giant plus in it. And look what happened. Over here in this folder where I saved it, I actually have a new folder in my directory. So when I went to New Project and Save, it actually made a new folder in that spot and a new file type. Instead of maxpat, now we have .maxproj, max project. So now I have a max project file, which does not contain any patchers or media or anything at the moment. The max project file, its job is to tell all of the other things in it what to do. So I can add files to this project, things like max patchers. So now I added that patcher. And I have now, instead of an empty project, I have a max patch. And I also have an MP3 file because it knew that that MP3 file was part of the patch. And now I can double click on this patcher and I can open it up. It's this max project file is merely a set of instructions of what to do. So in fact, I can right-click on this new patcher that I added, and I can say Reveal in Finder, and it's going to show me it's this patch here. Okay. We have yet one more problem, and that is that this patcher and this MP3, we can reveal in Finder here, are actually not in this project folder. Those two files do not exist in the project folder yet. They exist on my computer. So at this point, if you're saying I'm done, I'm with my project, I'm going to turn it in, I'm going to take this folder and compress it and upload it, and you give it to somebody to use, they will not have anything in it. They will open up this compressed file, and they will have this folder with a max project in it. But that max project file type does nothing except for give instructions about other existing media files. It does not hold any sound files. It does not hold any patchers in and of itself. It's just a set of instructions. So if, I'm going to delete this so we don't get confused. Where is it? Move to trash. If instead we want to be able to turn in a folder with a max project file and a patcher and an MP3 file, we have to do something to tell Max, hey, put all of the files that you're using, make copies of them, and put them in your own folder. And we do that with a command called consolidate. So down at the bottom here, there's this little stack of, I don't know, papers or something. And if I hit consolidate, and open it up for me, now inside this folder, I have two new folders. I have a new copy of this max patch, and I have a copy of that MP3 folder file. And now if I were, and also I have my max project file. So now if I take this folder, compress it, and turn it in, then, or give it to somebody, then they have everything that they're gonna need in order to run this max project. So for example, I have been working on a project for the museum, and I'm using a project for it, and let me show you why. When things that you're working on, like installations that we would call projects, get very large, and then it's much more efficient consolidating to be able to have everything in one project rather than in a bunch of different folders, because then you can easily transport it, you can easily see what kind of files you're using in your project. So let me open this up and I'll show you. This is for the Children's Museum. They wanted a meditative space. And I've got just a ton of stuff in here. So I've got all of these different patchers that it uses, and I want to be able to have access to them just with my project folder. So if I want, I can go say, oh, what was this multi-channel monitor thing again? Oh, right. I can edit it in here, close it, and then save it. And then I also have my media listed here as well. So it's a really nice way of organizing your project. Okay, I need to let you go. It's 11:46. Don't forget your project ideas. If you have questions, come talk to me.